card number 15, the Devil, from the Soul Reflections Tarot. Yesterday I did a video, no, 2 days ago I did a video on the Devil with 6 different tarot cards depictions, and that one vanished somehow. At the end of the video, looking to find it, mysteriously gone. So without more speculation as to why, no need, it's a new video with a single tarot card and my favourite of the 6 depictions I was looking at. So yeah, the Devil's position, relation, meaning, all of that. There's a lot of lenses, views, filters that could be said on it, and I did touch on a lot of them with the previous video, but you can go elsewhere and look for different meanings and make up your own minds and hearts and feelings on what it may mean to you. It's always a good practice, and there's a lot of complexities and differing ideas around it. So to start with anyway, in this particular card, prominent feature in the artwork are the horns. Ties and associations to Baphomet, if you will, the hermaphroditic deity, some might view as Luciferian or satanic, or others as an alchemical symbol of balance of things. And goats, the Pan. Pan is also a common depiction for the Devil, a cloven-hooved, horned, goat-headed creature. And these are all depictions, and often at times I would add caricatures of a devil / boogeyman type creature. Now, in tarot, it's sometimes been a tradition to depict said character in a slightly comical way, whether it be with crossed eyes or some other bizarre but meaningful component added into it. And the idea around that is to bring humour, to bring a lightness to what many might view as a heavy topic or a difficult topic or figure or idea, construct. Very meritorious, that approach. In this particular card, there's really no need for that. The lightness is apparent in the dark and literally depicted with this flame and this fire, which I will talk about. The Devil's process in tarot, and I think quite clearly illustrated here, is what one might term more akin to Lucifer Lightbringer mythologies. But it's the process some might call Negredo, the darkness, or crossing the abyss, or the abyss in itself. So in themes of our own personal journeys, when we give up the need to externalize blame, projection of our internal selfness onto the external world with judgment, and we look within ourselves and start exploring. We may at times be confronted by our own demons, figures, shadows, boogeymen, unintegrated aspects, parts of ourselves. And this is part of most spiritual and occult systems, that you will face these things. And not much is really said. Well, much is said. There is literature, there is points of view, but many, I don't think, necessarily know that before they get there. And maybe in knowing it, there can be some preparation, but it's a process, and it's a sincere process, I think, for many who undertake it, understand it, are immersed in it. So this is the confrontation within oneself of who one is behind the masks, behind the performative aspect to the world, behind closed doors within oneself. And it's definitely a time for discernment of what is true and real and vital within oneself, away from all the noise of these other things. And what I really, really like here is what is gestured towards of the benefit or the gain within this card is this fire, the fire of being, the fire of life, the fire of spirit, the little flame we all carry within us. And it is almost like the stripping away of everything can be the pathway to finding that. These other things, not to say they're good or bad, they are more just layers and masks on top of this. The divine spark of beingness is present within all creation. How we choose to acknowledge that within ourselves and others is part of the work, I feel, of being a human on this planet. So I don't know what really else to say now. everyone's journey is unique and personable to them. What is right and good for them is right for them. The discernment of a particular path or way to that journey, finding, knowing, revealing, there's guidance in many ways, but everyone's walk in that way is very unique. And I would say that essentially there's a process of uniting, I guess one could say, spirit and matter. And you can see depicted within the hollow blank face space of this card, we have two figures, one looking a little more solidly and the other looking ethery, airy, watery, spirit-like, one coming down to meet the other, and none is better or worse. They are parts of a whole and seek recognition and integration. And I feel this card really stresses the merit of that, to not see one as exclusive of the other, as spirit or soul, or that seeking mission to be at the neglect, detriment, or renunciation of the material existence. And likewise, the material existence not to become out of balance with the recognition of the spiritual existence. And if the devil was to remind one of this factor, then they are serving a wonderful and crucial role in our learning and understanding. For in similar concepts, the devil may be seen as an exiled angel, whether that exile was of one's own free will choosing, or force or punishment, is whatever perspective you need to feel at the time to resonate in your own truth or add some value. One particular story of the fallen angel I quite like is the Sufi story, which says when humanity, beings, us, were created, God said to the host of angels to look upon their creative work and its beauty and magnificence and brilliance. The angels all did this, except one whose position and defense or reason for not wishing to look upon the creation was that the beauty of the Creator was beyond measure. How could one turn away from that beauty and brilliance to look at something else other? And as consequence of not being able to do that, this angel was exiled. And that story to me is is quite fitting, and this comes from the Islamic mystic Sufi tradition, and it echoes quite nicely, I think, with this card, or a perception around the ability to see the divineness within the creation as much as equal parallel to the creator. And we maybe need to remember and learn this as we look around at each other, and also especially at ourselves at times. And I think this is the gift that we can be guided in, or led more towards, when we are at times confronted with what might be shown to us or thrown into the judgment, labeling, boogeymen, monster, evil categories that we quite often like to lump individuals or various groups of beings into, because of a certain perceptual lens of what they may have done or what they represent, or speculations on what interests they serve, etc. But I don't overly see where the constant process of that gets anybody. No being or soul of consciousness is beyond rectification, and I don't even think that's the right word, beyond I want to say re-afflammation, re-aflameness, re-ignition into the divine order, the divine belonging, the divine family that we are all beings of. It's not an exclusive caste. It's not a do this, meet this, say this, renounce this, worship this belonging club. It's an extension that is invited to everybody that is willing to choose that, acknowledge that, and participate in that within themselves. And it's a very individual journey towards finding. And sometimes it can be and involve elements of rebellion from traditional systems or ways of thinking or being, or churches, religions, cults, whatever. It is, to me, a lot about finding one's own path and way of being that is not at the exclusion or allowance of others to do the same particular process. Right. So there's also words on this card. If you wanted some traditional kind of themes. So, yeah, what does it say? Temptation, addiction, materialism, obsession, shadow self, manipulation, greed. So some components touched upon in what I mentioned, the over-materialism at the detriment of spirit, greed and accumulating materialism to the detriment and expense of others. Obsessional belief patterns that keep one stuck, or behaviours, which ties into addictions. Temptations to, I would say, a bee, haze, in manners that are unfitting to someone that carries a spark of divinity within them. And that's a judgment, and that's a personal judgment, but I think we all feel when and have a knowledge when we've acted in ways that are a discredit to that, and in ways that are a discredit to that within self and others. They do go particularly both ways. So, yeah, that's little reading, information about what my particular take is in the Devil card in tarot, and it's one light lens way of looking, and yeah, that is of some value. I have found it such a way for me, and yeah, next we can do another card. So yeah, thanks for watching. If you enjoy, do the things that people say to do. If you feel like it, do a comment, do a like, do a share, do a dance, and I'll do another one of these shortly. So yeah, aroha nui, remember who you are, be true to that in yourself, and be true to that with other people.